John, when you have a game like you did last night, lots of energy, lots of passion throughout the lineup, do you find yourself wondering where that's been some nights, or do you just find yourself wondering if there's a way to bottle that and sustain it from one game to the next? Because it was pretty impressive performance coming off a road trip like you had.
I've wondered about a lot of things all year long.
Yeah. That's one of them?
Yes.
Yeah. Another question for you. You every year there's a trade deadline, and every year it can be kind of odd. I'm sure this is the first year, at least the last few for you guys, where you're probably likely to be parting with some players rather than adding players for a push. Does that take a different dynamic, and have you addressed that at all with the team? We're talking some of the leaders in that room.
No, I haven't. As a team, we just get ready to play our games, no matter where it takes us, no matter where the organization goes with it. We just play our games and get ready to play the games the proper way.
Thanks.
Next, we'll go to Mark Scheig. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Todd. Good morning, John. Or good afternoon, John. I want to ask you about Michael Del Zotto. He's been a really important part of the team this year. The scratches withstanding, just how important has he been to the room? I know you talked a lot about culture yesterday, but he seems like he really cares, and he seems like he really wants to do well for your team.
Mike has always been that type of guy as far as competing and trying to help a team to win. I think he brings an element to the room. I think he can keep guys loose also by just his personality, but also I think has gained a ton of respect in the room about how hard he does play. I've watched him transform from a 19-year-old to now 31. I've seen the whole spectrum of it all, and he handled himself he handled himself really well. And the key for Mike, as we've talked about here the past few weeks, is just making sure we're in that fine line where he's not trying too hard, where he chases the game. And for Michael to chase the game, it puts him in a bad spot. He's given us some good minutes this year.
Have you liked his play with Mikko Lehtonen in that new look third pair?
Yeah. There were a couple breakdowns last night as all defensive pairs go through. He's played with a lot of different people. I've talked to Brad Shaw about this. Sometimes it's hard for a defenseman to play left side, right side, and have different partners along the way too. A guy coming to a new organization, all the stuff going on around him. I think he's handled himself very well. I think Mikko has played well, and they've given us some good minutes here. I think they're both very competitive.
John, my last one. If you had any updates, I'm not sure if you had anything on either Boone, Jack, Seth, or Gus.
I have not. I have not talked to the trainer since we got off the ice.
Thank you, John.
Next, we'll go to Jeff Svoboda. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks, John. You've talked often about how sometimes teams or players just need results to feel good about themselves. And did you notice a different vibe today, just finally getting a win last night and maybe some of the pressure coming off, just to kind of have that good feeling after a win and play the music, as you often say?
Yeah, that's why players play. They want to win the games. They want to enjoy themselves and try to feel good about themselves when they leave the building. And it's been few and far between this year. We've had, we really haven't put a really good run together where you're looking at 6 or 7 games that you can feel that way. So I'm sure it's been hard on them as far as the ups and downs of it. And, but that's where we lie. And that's why we lie in the standings right now where we're at.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask something a little different. Was another game last night where you had Robinson and Foodie together, and just how fast that line can be. And there seems to be a focus, especially with Robbie on the ice, about trying to spring him sometimes on these plays, and Foodie can do the same. I mean, just how important is and how nice is it when you have those guys and how they can kind of create just based off of the speed that they have?
Yeah, I think when you have that type of speed in your lineup, I think it kind of pulls other people along too. It just makes your lineup look faster. And sometimes they got other guys may not be playing faster, but some reason it makes them look faster. Robbie's done that all year long for us. Foods has been sporadic as far as in and out of the lineup. Robbie has every night. Robbie is, as I say, you want to get noticed. Robbie gets noticed, and I think he's been very consistent throughout the year that way.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Bailey Johnson. Go ahead, Bailey.
Hi, John. You talked about culture yesterday and building that. Is that something that's been tougher to work on this year with the nature of the schedule and less practice time and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I think a lot of things come into play. And we've had a little bit of a turnover in our roster. Some of the things that went on at the beginning of the year, and a number of different people coming in. I'm not so sure if it's practice or even camp. I just think it's because of the protocol with COVID, going out on the road, maybe going to dinner together as a group, some team bonding stuff as a group. I think that has hampered that. I think winning more consistently turns it into more of a belief. I think players want to hang their hat on something, and belief is a very important thing. I think winning kind of cultivates that a little bit. So yeah, there's a number of different things. That's a subject I could talk all day long about what we need to do here, because I do think we've lost that here a bit. That needs to be worked on as far as standard and how we present ourselves as a team. I think that has changed a bit, and that needs to be worked on.
Thanks.